So in a recent video I covered the models from Cadia stands. Well, it's time to talk about the rules. Okay, so first up we have the art card, the two-sided A3 art card that comes with the set. This is used kind of as a divider. So on one side we have Lord of the Rings, Solar Leontis. Yes, I'm going to continue making Lord of the Rings jokes. This is not the first or last time in this video. And we have Catachan fighting a Chaos Demon. Now, these two pieces of art feature in a few places. We've also got that one actually is on the cards. But yes, next up we have the instructions, which are generally pretty good. They're pretty good. They even tell you what base sizes are there, and to a degree what base sizes things go for. But yeah, anyway, on to the rest of it. The art in the new codex is great. I'm going to say that right now. The major positive of this book is its art. They went to town on it. Admittedly, this guy's art, Lord Solar Leontis, feels like he belongs in Lord of the Rings.
Look to my coming at first light on the 5th day. At dawn, look to the east.
I'm not complaining, I like Lord of the Rings, but he feels more Lord of the Rings than 40k. We also have the data cards. Now, I'll get them out of the way first. They suck. Sure, they provide rules for 9th edition, but well, when they came out, 9th edition had 6 months left. Ish. Much like the art here, they have They have the Cadian art from the box with trim, and they have the Catachan art, the much older Catachan art that you see here with Catachan versus Demons, which is cool. So the art card here as well comes with is the aforementioned Catachans versus Demons art. Yes, there was a barcode there. I don't care. So we've got the Grim Faces art that's in some of the more recent 40k stuff. So in terms of this book, this is how much non-rules you have. That includes art of the models. All this, actually, that's names, so that doesn't really count. But all this, which is more than a half of the pages, is basically worthless in 10th. Is going to be pretty much worthless in 10th. And it'll be at least next year before we get a new codex. I'm reckoning probably 2 years. Yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. For context, we have the 5th edition Guard Codex, where while they did have some rules in the sections beforehand, they also put lore in with there, and lots of it. We've got the War Gear section here, which even has lore in it because it tells you what each of the weapons are. We've got basically all this is lore. There's a few pages of rules here, and then there's model gallery, and then there's rules. That's how much rules 5th edition had in the codex. Partly because universal special rules were a thing back then. Which, honestly, I look forward to them coming back. And they are coming back by the look of things. Whereas in the worst Guard Codex, I'm going to be honest, this is all lore here. This is all rules. Well, actually, I lie. It's lore and art. Yeah, on a lore front, this kind of sucks, because there's galleries, which is something, but there's a lot of kind of worthless after that point. Now, as an introduction book to the Guard, it's relatively decent. It'll teach you, it'll give you a good idea of how things work with the Guard. It gives you a brief overview of different characters, including new ones. She came out of nowhere, let's be honest. I would have liked a bit of a mention of her beforehand. Just, even if it's just like a mention of her in the previous codex even would have been good. We have that glorious piece of art from, I think, the 8th edition book. Is it just me, or is that Cole? Or is that Belisarius Cole before he had a name? Like, we've got various rules. They break down kind of the chain of command and stuff. They break down various regiments, but they don't... This kind of misses a number of regiments. Like, Vostroyan weren't mentioned in here. I don't think... Were Valhallans mentioned? I don't think so. And of course they don't have a glossary, so you can't check. They gave a goodly collection on Steel Legion, on Warzone Armageddon, but didn't really talk about the Steel Legion. You know, the people whose planet that is. They also give us a bit, not quite obituary for Yarek that kind of talks about his death, but talks about his life, but doesn't really give us anything about his death. Which, given that at the time of this there is no book out that gives us his death, I'd thought in the Arcs of Omen Angron book that we might have seen him get killed in there, but no. Funny enough, that picture leaked. Before this book came out, that picture leaked. Actually, no, it didn't leak. GW leaked it themselves. So we saw that there was the alternative loadout for the belt-fed autogun. Just little random bits. We see some Gretchen and some orcs attempting to come up on a Cadian gun line. Yeah, that's going to hurt for the guardsmen because those orcs are too close. We've got various armoured forces and so on. That stuff is... Well, that fortress part is the old Forge World Imperial Fortress. That's, I think, the Fortress of Redemption with bits. Yeah, so a number of elements that got added to... There are a number of elements missing from the rules section that I'm miffed about. The main one of which is veterans. I mentioned it in the previous video, but so much rules that aren't really things that don't really matter to me. Hey, the old mechanized warfare art. Oops, that's going to mess up the video a bit. That art was part of a cover art piece that for when GW did a Armored Assault or whatever it was called expansion in White Dwarf that was basically just heavy support the game mode, which was neat. Never got to play it, but found the White Dwarf years later. A number of units got removed from this. I'm surprised Tank Commander stayed around, but I guess they realised they need some kind of HQ on wheels. I don't like that the only mounted commander we have is Lord Soloniontus.
Those Neds are
Even Heresy has mounted guard commanders and Imperial and militia commanders and so on, but got pulled out of this codex. Don't get it? What? I mean,
okay, what is
sure,
my phone doing?
I'm sorry if the video's got upside down.
Will bring across Death Corps
Units that got pulled out of the Guard Codex this edition.
You get
Lord Commissar, Company Command Squad, which basically just got renamed to Platoon Command Squad, so in theory, then that means the Platoon Command Squad got removed. Special Weapons Squad, conscripts, lost their special weapons
in favour of getting
Crusaders,
a taser,
but
getting
I mean,
a couple of
Crusaders
variant
were in the
lances.
Storm unit that getting shafted in that codex.
Lance with melting.
Battle Psyker Squad was removed.
Taser
unit.
Lance. I'm slurring my words for some reason here. And a Melter Charge Lance, which are both going to hurt.
They will hurt. So, Green Krieg. But yeah, the Praetorians I don't think were mentioned. Mind you, they're so irrelevant. Like, there's a handful of us who like them. I
have mixed feelings about them. I kind of want them, but I'm not willing to pay the price for the medals. At least Wargames Atlantic got me covered. Anyway, would I say to have bought this codex 6 months ago? No, I'm pretty sure I said not to, because I suspected we were getting a new edition. Would I say to buy it now? No, don't. It's not worth the money. You're better off, in all honesty, finding an older edition's codex and just going with and having that as your law book to read through. And I mean, you can see how much use this one's got. It's tattered and broken, and the same goes for the one previous to it. This set could have been better. These cards suck. They should have been playing cards. They shouldn't be this. They should have been two players worth of playing cards with the two different art styles on it. Instead of rules cards that had a 6-month lifespan. I feel sorry for anyone who's silly enough to actually have bought the standalone release of those cards, or to buy them off eBay like I did with the Sister of Battle cards from the Army box in the 2019 Army box. Yeah, I didn't even get a game with those cards. I got 2 games with that codex, only for it to then be rendered invalid in 2021. And yeah, that left a sour taste in my mouth. I'm glad that when I got this set, I didn't pay more than the Combat Patrol's worth for it, because it isn't worth it. The models are gold. They're great. I love the models. But the rules suck. The rules situation sucks. If we'd have had a year with this before the new edition, I'd have felt a bit happier about these rules. It would have given me a chance to actually get a proper game in with them, but to get in enough games with it to be able to properly give a review of the codex. But as it stands, we didn't even get that. We got 6 months. It just is. It sucks. Let's be honest. It sucks. And like legendary characters like Yarrick didn't even get a proper send off, either in this or in their own book. I mean, Yarrick's got a Black Library series on him. There should be a book covering his end. And if Black Library don't bring that out in the next year, I'll be surprised and disappointed. Or they'll bring out or they'll do what they did with Celestine out of the Sister of Battle element of the Imperial Agents Codex, where they're like, yeah, we're not going to include her rules in here because we're going to bring out a new model of her and charge you $80 for the rule book that contains her rules alongside 2 other data sheets and a formation and some terrain and some environment battlefield rules. Yeah, the Imperial Agents Codex was underwhelming, and the Gathering Storm Book 1 was terrible. So my closing thoughts on the codex is it has great art in it, and it has semi-decent lore. Sure, it could use a whole lot more of that, and it could actually really use a hobby section, because, yeah, that way the book could be worth a bit more. As it stands, too much of this book is rules that are now irrelevant, pretty much. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Pardon the salt. For more salt, I have a follow-up shorts video to this one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.